What's going on, Arkansas? Welcome back to Happier, Healthier Arkansas. I'm your host, Dr. Cameron Daniels, and today, listen, I have with me April Pollard. She's a founder of Women Influencers. She has an incredible content that we're going to be able to release today, especially as it relates to relationships and community. So April, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yeah.
First question I always get started with everyone is, how do you make Arkansas happier and healthier?
That's a really great question. And I love that this is a question that you're asking the people that you talk to on your show and just in general when you're out in the community. Because I think, and I am taking kind of a tangent, but the reason I love the question is that I think as business owners and entrepreneurs and people out in our community, maybe we get really focused on, just serving our clients and just doing the things that, we do every day, that we forget there may be another bigger picture. So I love that you bring that back in these conversations back to the community. So how I look at what I do for the community is I really try to help people understand the foundation of why they need to build real relationships.
Right.
And I don't mean just like best friends. Like, you don't have to be best friends with everyone, but building relationships in the community builds stronger bonds.
Yeah.
And that connects the different subsets of our community. And so how I've done that in the past has really been connecting people. I feel like I have a knack for creating spaces where people connect.
Yep.
And creating dialogue.
And especially when it comes to community, because we can get so tied up inside of our own lives that we forget about the lives of others, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why when you and I were talking, I was like, I need to get you on the show. And it's because I see exactly what you're doing in the Arkansas community to create just that community. One of the ways you do that is Arkansas Women Influencers. Mm-hmm. How exactly did that come about, the whole women influencer thing?
Yeah, that's a good question too. It wasn't meant to be what it is today. And even we're kind of like in three different stages right now. We started in 2017. I was part of a networking group, and when I left, there were some women that left with me. And it really made me think like, well, what value am I bringing? Like, why would they come with me? What value am I bringing? We started a women's only networking, industry specific, kind of like BNI, kind of like Arkansas Business Networking, where you have industry specific. And I really felt like I wanted to bring other female financial advisors along with me. And so it made me think like, how can I create a space where I can have someone in the same industry but not be competitive with them? Like, how can we collaborate instead of being competitive against each other? So in January of 2017, I just started hosting like a coffee get together.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything other than I would bring in speakers, and we went from like 6 or 8 women in 8 months to like 40. And then it was 60. Oh, wow. So by 2019, we had 3 locations: Conway, Little Rock, and Benton Bryant.
All happening simultaneously?
Yeah, different Fridays, because I tried to go to them.
Oh, wow.
I had friends in all the communities. Yeah. So we would have these meetings on Friday mornings, and it was just a really great place to build connection. Yeah. And that's when I started realizing, okay, these spaces that are being created are feeding the relationships between women. Yeah. And helping us to see that as women, we don't have to be competitive with each other. Let's build each other up. And there were other women like me who wanted those deeper connections and also deeper business connections.
Yeah. And obviously, there must be a history of connection and community that kind of formed you into the April Pollard today, right? So what did that genesis of you building community look like? Like why are you so involved with the community? Like, what is your why, right? Because my why is, you hear it all the time, right? But I want to make Arkansas the happiest, healthiest state on the entire planet. And I do it through people like you. I do it through people like other people that I interview on this podcast. But obviously you have a why that's creating all of this. And so what is that why for you?
I needed those relationships. I think I don't know where it came from, except I went through school, I went through high school, I went through college, and it was easier for me to hang out with the guys. And I've always been athletic, and that's always been like my space. I play video games like we talked about. And so I don't fit the normal female mold or, like woman. And there were times in my relationships with other women through high school that I got hurt. And I think through those years and then coming into, what I do now and seeing that I really needed other women in my life, but I didn't know how to go about finding those relationships where they were like both beneficial for both of us,
right? Where
we were leaning on each other. And there are women who have great long-term relationships with like their best friends. I never had that. And so I love that for them. And I was looking for, how can I build these relationships with other women? And really, I would say that's my why. I needed it. And I've realized that if there's something that I'm missing, that I'm needing, I can't be the only one.
Right.
And so I think that's what's kind of helped me create spaces.
And that's where the community piece comes from. Because, even one thing that I struggle with, is actually, like, I'm not a marketer, right? I'm not a marketer. People have told me I'm a good communicator, but I don't know how to build community like effectively. But one thing that I'm hearing from you is if you want to build a community, especially for people that are listening, if you want to build a community, you find the pain points inside of other people that you're trying to actually build a community around, right? And what's awesome, and I can even attest to this, what's awesome is that you found that need, and not only did you execute off that need, but you literally radically shifted, at least here in Central Arkansas, but I'm pretty sure the entire state, of women that get together that are actually influencing the community to make it happier and healthier. And it all stems from something that you decided to create in the genesis of that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to leading these different groups, right? Obviously you said it started with 6 to 8 people.
Yeah.
And then in 8 months got to like 80. What was a catalyst for that? Like, how did that happen to go from point A, 6 to 8 to
I think it really had to do with maybe the women that were in the room with me. And we probably all shared a want or a need to develop relationships with other women, friendships, business relationships, and not really having the space facilitated for us. And so when these ladies started coming together and seeing like, hey, this isn't a sales thing, and there's no pitching and there's real value, but then there's relationship building built into the meetings. The second part of that is we moved to a space that was woman owned. And so it used to be Honey Pies, now it's Blue Cake. So the owner, she sold the Blue Cake company, and that space was really good because not only were we getting together, we were supporting another one of our women. And I think that's really important, that we're showing that support. And then the other part of it is we decided to create an online community, and that was done through Facebook.
And this was in
2017.
Oh, okay.
So in 2017, that first like 6 or 8 months, we were just in person. Like we just had meetings. Now I would post the event on Facebook.
Yeah, naturally.
And I started talking to Susanna Escobar, who was like the other half of my brain. Like we worked so well together. I haven't seen her in forever. But we started talking like, how can we bring connection between these once a month meetings? Because at that time it was just Little Rock and it was just once a month. So we would meet the second Friday, and then you go all month and then you meet the second Friday. So one of the catalysts, I think, was looking at this subset of women and saying, well, how can we create a continual space of connection?
And expand it from there.
And expand it. And we didn't expect to expand like it did.
Wow.
Like that was not expected. And then earlier I mentioned we kind of had like 3 parts. So we were meeting in person, we had 3 locations, and then COVID happened. We were never meant to be an online platform. We were meant to be in-person connection with a way to connect online. COVID happened and we had no more in-person meetings for like 3 years. And really we haven't started having those meetings again, I will say here, But after talking to the leadership team, I'm really wanting to get it going back again this September after summer.
And I think that'd be excellent. You know what I mean? I think that'd be excellent. And this is a good catalyst to be able to let people know about.
Yeah. I'm holding myself accountable by saying that.
Yeah.
That's the reason I said it here, because I told the leadership team, I was like, everyone's asking me. They're saying we want to do this. We want this space again. And as hard as it is for me to say, okay, where's my time capacity? I need it too. So to make myself accountable, I've told the leadership team, telling you, you know, we've got to have these spaces again.
Yeah. And you, obviously with working with a bunch of women inside the Women Influencers group, especially for the women that are listening, what are some key characteristics that you found in a successful woman? I know it's very broad, but obviously I'm sure that there's some characteristics.
Yeah, because there's different types of success, especially when we look at the space of being a woman. I have women in my life who are very successful at being a wife and a mother, and that's where they want to be. And I admire them for that there is a space where they feel very connected, and that's what they want to do. And there's a lot of success in that. And then there are the moms who just want to work a couple of days a week, and they're successful there. And then you have the full-blown entrepreneur. Yeah. And I would say in all of those spaces, the ability to be, I'm going to use the term humble, but that's not really what I'm looking for. The ability to take feedback. So to be able to be told that, hey, that hurt, and look at it from the perspective of, man, I didn't mean to hurt you. How can I do better next time? Whether that's with your kids, or apologizing and saying that with them and modeling for them, or with your partner, your spouse, or with your girlfriends, or with community friends, or business contacts. I think that's really a key characteristic of being successful, because we're not always going to be perfect, and we're not always going to be able to do everything, you know, at a standard. Yeah. We don't run at 100% every day.
Right.
And so being able to be like, well, yeah, you're right. Hey, how can I fix that next time? Or what are your thoughts on, you know, me being better? How can I treat you better? Or
I like that, because when it comes to, you know, constructive criticism and being able to receive constructive criticism, I mean, that's something just in general in this world, that's something that we don't do enough of being able to take it. But that humility or being humble is a part of that, right? But in terms of actually accepting it, you know, our key things here in the clinic, in terms of the team that we have, we say ownership, right? Just take ownership. Take ownership for everything. Take action on the things that you're saying that you're going to do. That's also taking ownership, right? And then have gratitude in every single thing that you do. And if, you know, what we found is, if we do those three things, I mean, obviously patient care goes up, community relationship goes up, you know, life at home, right? Life at home goes up. There's a good friend of mine, Sean Dill. He says that business problems are actually personal problems in disguise.
That's really good.
Yeah. And
so that's really good.
Yeah, he's awesome. Sean, he has a Black Diamond Club. But yeah, in BDC, they say, you know, business problems are personal problems in disguise. And so when you look at the ability to take ownership, or be able to take constructive criticism, if you can't take that, then there's no room for growth. And if we're actually staying stagnant, we're actually heading backwards, because the world is always moving forward, right? The days are always moving forward. It's not like, oh, if I just stay exactly where I'm at today, I'll just keep staying here. You're actually going backwards. So either you're moving forward or you're going backwards. And that's really awesome, because I know you work with a lot of people. So for you to be able to see that characteristic is actually really, really humbling. Humbling for me. So for the people that are listening, if there's something that you could tell them to be able to help make them happier and healthier, right? If there is something that you could tell to the people today, what is that one thing that you would say would radically transform their way to be happier and healthier? It could be mindset, it could be physical, it could be spiritual, it could be emotional, mental, it doesn't matter. But what are some of the things that you do to keep yourself happier and healthier, and then what other people could do as well?
I think the one thing that I always remind myself of whenever it's a good time or a bad time is that this is temporary. So when I know you have a very young child and one on the way, and I have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old, and there were times it was very difficult. I came into this business in my, let's see, in 2017, I had a 1-year-old. So actually, Bo was only 5 months old. I forgot about this. Bo was 5 months old when I started Women Influencers. 5 months old. So I wasn't sleeping. Oh, and we had a whole farm, chickens. We had chickens and rabbits and pigs and turkeys and pheasants and quail and all of those things.
My goodness.
So I had these 2 kids, a new kid, and I started Women Influencers. I did sell all my animals because I couldn't take care of everything.
I couldn't keep up with them.
But, when hard times come, knowing that this isn't going to last forever, I just have to muscle my way through and really think what can I do today to affect where I'm at today? And, it may be 6 months, it may be a year. I have no idea how long this hard time is going to last, but I know it's not going to be forever.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is that this really awesome time right now that is so exciting and so over the top wonderful will not last forever. And that mindset, that realization that I'm not going to be this excited forever helps me know that once I come off the top of the mountain, it's really good. You get to the top and then it's okay, kind of mundane and boring or whatever. That really good time's not going to last forever. So enjoy it while I'm there, but don't be bummed when I'm on the other side of it, because another one will come, hills and valleys, and just knowing that, okay, this is where I'm at. I love it. I love the people around me. I love what I'm doing. Maybe I'm super stressed out, but this is where I'm at today.
Yeah. And essentially take inventory on the things that are happening now. If they're good, hold on to them and cherish them for being in the moment, knowing that it's not going to last forever. I mean, we see that with kids, right? Oh my goodness. It feels like yesterday my daughter was just born. Now 16 months running around talking. It's but and I know that these days aren't going to last, but holding on to what's happening now, knowing that it's not going to last forever, so that way I can cherish it. But also when times are difficult and when you are struggling and when things are happening, to be able to know that too is also temporary, because life is all about ebbs and flows.
It is.
What are some ways that people can reach out to you, get to know you, hear more about you?
Yeah. So they can find me on Facebook. I do have Instagram. I do have LinkedIn. I'm there. You can find me there, but I'm not active there. I really don't think as people we have enough capacity to do all the spaces, and it's very difficult. So
I agree.
I'm very involved in one-on-one relationships with people. So what that means is I stick mainly to Facebook. I can facilitate that. I've got a routine with it. And so you can find me on Facebook. It's April Pollard.
Okay.
It's a picture of me in a black outfit and sitting
just follow.
Professional photo. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Just reach out and I'm happy to have lunch or coffee. I prefer not to do things in the evening because I want to go home.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, to my family. So things during the day.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, April, for coming out. This was awesome. I'm sure that people that are listening got a massive amount of value for it. And I cannot thank you enough for helping make Arkansas happier and healthier.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.